on that sort of front, that new show, Squid Game on Netflix, that was one where I was kind of like a bit late to the party, but then once I finally sat down to watch it, it hooked me and I watched the whole series in like 3 or 4 days. So it's
Yeah,
weird that
I haven't watched
some
it
of those
yet.
work and some don't.
Well, I haven't watched it yet, but everyone that I have been like along my work crew and in my mates and that the question is, oh, have you watched it? And then there's always, I think you really enjoy it, so there must be something in it that they think I might enjoy from it. So give it a go. But everyone's just raving about it at the moment.
Yeah, that's sort of what got me. It was all over social media and everything. People were like, "Oh, you need to watch Squid Game." I was like, "Right." I had an hour on like Thursday night or something where I had nothing else to watch. I was like, "I'm going to watch this episode, this first episode, and see if it gets me." And it's the first episode was really slow, like to begin with,
Mm.
but then at the end, when they finally get to the first game of the Squid Games,
Yeah, I
that's when
briefly had a look at
they
what it was
hooked me.
about.
You got to finish that first episode.
Yeah, and that's what I really I always find that hard. There's a lot of good series that I've watched over the years, and you're like, nah, it's really really good, and then you've always got to be like, just get past that first episode, that first that story defining episode, that one where it just lays everything out,
Yep.
and then after that, like it's the I did the same with Lucifer, back in when because they did that weekly release as well. Same thing now. I kind of watched the first episode. I think I had three to start off with because I missed them, and I was like, oh, that was pretty crap. And then I got more and more hooked, and I ended up watching them all eventually. But yeah, it's always that first episode blues, I reckon.
Yeah, and especially like Squid Game, like that first 40 minutes, because it's a South Korean show, it's a little bit sort of it makes it a little bit harder to get into as well. But yeah, once I got to that final game of the episode, I was like, okay, you got me. And then I watched the whole lot. Episode two, I think, is the big issue in the series though. I think that's probably the weakest of all the episodes
Okay.
in the I think 9 episodes. So I was like, oh, that could be a very easy point for people to just, oh, you got me after
Switch
the
off.
first one, and then the second
Yeah.
one's a bit of a letdown one. You could see people drop off pretty quick.
I'll make sure I tell Ron that because I actually mentioned it this morning. Then he was having a look at it online. And he said, "Oh, it looks really good." And he said he reminded him of a Doctor Who kind of episode that they did something kind of similar in terms of the games around the worlds and that.
Yep.
So obviously me denying being a sci-fi kind of guy, I also love Doctor Who. So maybe I might have to stop denying that one day.
Yeah, I think you're past the denying that with you're
Yeah.
into to Star Wars and all the other stuff.
Yeah, I know. I stand by my. I'm not. I always get told the reason about um, my position against Star Wars is because I've only ever seen Episode One, and so they
Oh,
reckon that's the
oh,
reason I don't like it because I saw the worst one.
yes, 100%. You started with the bad ones. Don't
It
start
was
with those
actually
ones.
my 10th birthday party too. I went to the Rocky Cinema in Nowra and then we went to Pizza Hut afterwards.
So Pizza Hut was the highlight of that party.
Yeah.
So yeah, like Squid Games, it's 9 episodes. They get 456 people, basically abduct them from all around Korea, and all these people have you come to learn are like in massive debt. So
Mm.
if they in this the games, if they win, for every person that doesn't finish the games and gets $100,000 gets added to the prize pool. And if you're
Okay.
the last man standing, you win 45.6 billion Korean won, which is something like 38 million American dollars.
Oh yeah. So they're all trying to buy out their debt by players. Is there like
Yep.
a consequence to playing and losing?
Oh yeah. Yeah, there's the ultimate consequence.
Or like death or something?
Yep.
Oh,
You
cool.
have to you have to survive the games. You don't just win, you survive.
Oh, so you
And like
what 400 and would you say 468 people or something down to one?
yeah, 456 down to 1.
Oh, that's awesome.
And
Might
yeah,
have to get
so
into that. That's that competitive side of it. We'll get into that.
it's yeah, hyper violent and gruesome. So be
Awesome.
prepared for that. Uh it watching it, it kind of reminded me of, did you ever watch Takeshi's Castle?
Nah.
So basically, like that was another one of those. This was a real Japanese game show where it was just like people go and play these ridiculous games and
Oh,
just get
actually, I think I do know what you're
annihilated
talking
on
about
like.
here. Yeah.
There's one where it was like a maze of just like walls after walls, and there'd be doors, and some of them would be real doors that you had to just run through and they'd push open, and others were just like wall. So it's just like kind of like this. And the first game they play in episode one is basically red light, green light,
Yep.
and but every time it's a red light, they have to stop, and if the camera senses movement, they get shot.
Oh, good.
So
Is it?
it
Oh,
just
that's
like
crazy. Do you,
it
you
just
end up picking like a
evolves into.
favorite?
Well, there's like the main character that it focuses around, and then like the couple of central offshoot characters, and then you don't really get to know the rest of the cast. But
Oh, okay.
it's weird. Like some of the characters you want to support, but then they do really crappy things and like weasel their way ahead in the game, and like I don't really like you now. Now I want you to die, and it
I'm
just
actually
switches
looking
back and
forward to it
forwards
now.
between supporting someone and then wanting them to die, and then they'll do something nice, and you're like, okay, I want you to survive now, and
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it now. I might pop it on tonight to watch episode one.
yeah, I
And,
think if you watch
in
episode
between
one,
all
and then
my
that episode one will give you a good idea of whether you want to continue or not.
yeah, and then push through episode two, like you said, and then I'll probably end up watching all nine in a day.
Yep.
With all my time.
And I was looking at some of the stats. It's doing really well already. It's apparently reached number one in 90 different countries that Netflix
That's
is in.
insane.
It's
How many countries is
on
Netflix in?
a lot, nearly everyone,
Yeah,
I think.
well, yeah, I thought 180 or something like that, 203, I think, isn't it? I don't know. Maybe I just made
And
it up. I don't.
it's on track to be Netflix's most watched show ever. So that's pretty crazy
That's
for
pretty cool.
not one of their Netflix original shows. It's some
Yeah,
random Korean show that they purchased and made and did the dubbing and everything for.
that's pretty cool.
Uh,
Is it
and
like
then
well dubbed in that? Or is it one of
good
those?
enough where it doesn't like
Yeah.
detract too much.
I
I
always find
watched
that
it
if it's
dubbed. I know
dubbed,
some people prefer to watch like the subtitled ones, but yeah, I didn't want to sit down and read as well.
yeah. No, I just
Can
find that
always
if
be
it's
a
not
problem.
well dubbed, I end up focusing more on how out of time it is, and then that just
Yep.
loses me.
And I think Netflix has got a lot better at that now. Like
Mm.
it's not as bad as it used to be. Like some of them were just horrible, but now they're pretty good.
Yeah.